In the early hours of what seemed like an ordinary morning, Russian officials confirmed a devastating strike. At least 7 people were killed in what Moscow is describing as the largest Ukrainian attack of 2026. The announcement sent ripples through international news networks and diplomatic channels. For a conflict that has stretched across years, redefining borders and alliances, this incident marks a troubling new threshold. The sheer scale, as characterized by Russian authorities, suggests a shift in the tactical landscape of this protracted war. As details emerged throughout the day, the world began asking a familiar but urgent question: what does this mean for the path forward? Russian Defense Ministry officials held a press briefing, outlining the scope of the attack with measured but pointed language. According to their account, the strike represented an unprecedented level of coordination and firepower for this calendar year. Spokespersons described the targeting and the response efforts, while state media amplified the message across television and digital platforms. The tone was somber, the imagery stark. Casualty figures, they warned, could rise as recovery operations continued. The statement was carefully crafted, balancing public information with strategic messaging, a familiar dance in modern conflicts where perception is as contested as territory itself. To understand this moment, we must step back and view the arc of the conflict itself. What began years ago as a regional crisis has evolved into a grinding, multidimensional struggle. The front lines have shifted, technologies have advanced, and international involvement has deepened. Both sides have adapted their strategies, learning from losses and recalibrating their capabilities. Ukraine has developed its own strike capacity, transitioning from a purely defensive posture to one that includes long-range operations. Russia, meanwhile, has fortified occupied territories and reconfigured its military doctrine. This latest attack sits within that continuum, a data point on a curve that trends upward in complexity and risk. Over the course of the war, Ukraine has received significant military assistance from Western allies, including advanced missile systems, intelligence sharing, and tactical training. This support has enabled Kyiv to conduct strikes far beyond the immediate combat zones, targeting logistics hubs, command centers, and infrastructure deep within Russian-held or even Russian territory. The development of indigenous drone technology has further expanded Ukraine's operational reach. These capabilities are not static, they represent an ongoing evolution in response to battlefield realities. The attack described by Russia as the largest of 2026 likely involved some combination of these assets, deployed with precision and timing designed to maximize impact. Beyond the strategic calculus and the geopolitical analysis, there are lives irrevocably changed. The 7 confirmed deaths are individuals with families, communities, and stories. In conflicts of this duration, the cumulative toll becomes almost incomprehensible. Soldiers and civilians alike bear the burden, their sacrifices often reduced to statistics in briefings and news tickers. Each escalation, each attack, each response adds to a ledger that no one truly wants to tally. Yet it is essential to pause and recognize that every number represents a human being, a loss that reverberates far beyond the immediate moment. The emotional weight of this war cannot be measured in casualty counts alone. The international community responded swiftly, though predictably, along established lines. Western governments expressed support for Ukraine's right to defend itself and to strike military targets, while urging restraint and emphasizing the need for civilian protection. Russia's allies issued statements condemning what they characterized as aggression and calling for accountability. The United Nations, as it has throughout the conflict, called for de-escalation and renewed diplomatic engagement. But these diplomatic rituals often feel like echoes in a void, repeated gestures that have yet to alter the trajectory of the war. The gap between rhetoric and resolution remains vast, and this latest incident does little to bridge it. As with every major incident in this conflict, the question of escalation looms large. Will Russia respond with a counterattack of equal or greater magnitude? Will this prompt a renewed push for negotiations, or will it harden positions on both sides? History suggests that moments like these can serve as inflection points, but they can also simply blend into the ongoing narrative of attrition. The largest attack of 2026 may be remembered as a turning point, or it may fade into the background as the war continues its relentless march. What is certain is that both sides remain deeply entrenched, with no clear path to resolution visible on the near horizon. This attack does not exist in isolation. It is part of a broader pattern of intensification that has characterized the conflict in recent months. Both Russia and Ukraine have signaled their intent to pursue military objectives aggressively, even as winter conditions and resource constraints impose their own limitations. The war has also become deeply interwoven with global energy markets, food security, and geopolitical alliances, making every tactical development a matter of international concern. What happens in the skies over Russia or Ukraine reverberates in capitals from Washington to Beijing, from Brussels to New Delhi. The stakes are high, and they extend far beyond the immediate theater of operations. As the dust settles from this latest strike, analysts and policymakers will pore over the details, seeking insights into capabilities, intentions, and vulnerabilities. The attack will be studied in military academies and intelligence agencies, dissected for lessons that might inform future operations or defensive preparations. But for the people living through this conflict, the analysis is secondary to the lived reality of uncertainty, loss, and endurance. The largest Ukrainian attack of 2026 is a headline today, a historical footnote tomorrow. Yet its consequences will linger, shaping the contours of a war that shows no signs of ending. The question remains, how many more headlines will there be before peace becomes more than a distant hope?